the Sinistrous Podcast. I am your host, Chris Taylor, also known as Raka, bringing you an Acolyte question today. Today's question is, how can an INFP gain authority from writing? So, when it comes to INFPs, and you guys are part of the mind temple, right? So authority is a big thing. Being able to grant you, the freedom, the power to speak your mind, to change and shape the world, as you see is right. Well, the answer to this is you have to first study. Whatever field that you are trying to become an authority in, you have to know more and outread everyone on that topic if you're going to maximize your success at becoming an authority. It means reading all of the books on the topic. Whether you agree or disagree with the logic presented in the information or the rationale, you need to be informed on everything. For the Mind Temple, you guys really are the epitome of knowledge is power. So, if you're going into any kind of field, you need to first study it, learn about it as much as possible. So, get as many books on the subject as you possibly can. And the biggest thing for you guys is not just sticking to whatever the popular idea is there. You have to read the primary argument for the things, for whatever it is that you're studying. So you have to be informed on what the popular opinions are. And then you have to go and seek out those opposite viewpoints. And you have to really, really study and understand what those other opinions are. And even that is not good enough. You have to then go and actually try to live in that environment. And through that actual experience, after you have the writing and the information to back up whatever you're seeing as potentially valuable information, you have to go and actually experience it. This is all before you can start writing on the topic, right? You need to live it, because through that, you'll start taking the pieces of information that you get from those books, the points and the counterpoints. You'll start to be able to see the perspectives of behind the words in the books. You'll start to be able to parse out the hidden narratives that are associated with the information that you are consuming by actually going out and living it. And then you'll be able to actually start writing your opinion on the topic, your understanding of things. And because you'll have actually studied both sides of the argument, you'll be much better equipped to have a valuable opinion on whatever it is you're speaking to. And the thing is, when you go through this experience, you've studied all the sides of the argument, you've consumed as much knowledge as you possibly can from the books, and then you've lived it, you're going to naturally become an authority on the topic just in having that experience. Now, you can supplement this, you can take shortcuts, and you can go and get degrees, certifications, and things like that to help you become an authority. Those things are useful. Getting a doctorate in a topic like psychology, for example. Those will open doors for you. But don't get so hung up on those opening the doors for you, always. Because even if they open the doors, if you've only studied one side of the argument, right, and you're not bringing a fresh perspective into things, well, how valuable is your opinion going to be really? You're going to be another voice in the crowd. And you may be an authority on the topic, but you won't be the authority on the topic that you are writing about. There's a few other ways of going about this. I very much recommend, like, more than any of the other types, that FPs focus on non-fiction over fiction. Because, you know, we tend to have a very vivid imagination as FPs. And so we can get creative naturally in the realm of fiction, just on our own functions alone. But if you're trying to be an authority on a topic, you're still, even if you're writing fiction, going to need to supplement that with some real-world data points. And they have to be lived. They have to be lived. Or you, at the end of the day, you'll only be taken seriously by a few, very few small portion of people. So at the end of the day, it's not really good enough to just study one side. And you need to be an ever-growing source. So ENFPs, ISTJs have the Library of Alexandria, right? And our goal really is collect as much information from stories as possible, because at the end of the day, we're only so focused on the use of that information from a standpoint of authority. What ENFPs and ISTJs are doing with the Library of Alexandria, well, think about it. Is a librarian themselves the most knowledgeable person on every single topic in their library? No. The librarian's purpose within the Library of Alexandria is to be able to point people to the right information. So we're more closer to librarians when it comes to our Library of Alexandria. But INFPs and ESTJs, you guys are collecting books on your shelf that you have consumed in their entirety for the purpose of knowledge, for the purpose of having that power that the knowledge and information brings. And so for you guys, and INFPs especially, you need to never stop reading on the topic, on whatever topic that you are interested in. You need to outread everyone else in your field, so that nobody can challenge the level of knowledge that you have. And the only thing to be challenged at that point is you actually going out and experiencing the information firsthand. And having all this information in your repertoire is going to prepare you so that you aren't having to rely on using your SE Trickster in order to try to figure things out as you go, so to speak. To try and get into the field that you're wanting to be in and having to learn every single thing the hard way, all the while potentially knocking down your reputation because you don't know enough of what you're talking about yet, or you only have a degree from school, and so the information that you have access to is just the entry level. It is incredibly important that you guys continue to read and never stop. everything that there is to know about that topic. The thing is about NE and TE as a whole is it will take those data points and it will see the connections that other people aren't seeing in a concrete way. It'll take this massive structure of information and start to be able to connect dots in ways that nobody else has thought of. And the more information you take in and consume around these topics, the more you're able to synthesize information. And that will make you more of an authority. That will make your input far more valuable than almost anything else out there. I guarantee you, I promise you, that if you outread everyone else on the topic, you are already by default, going to be one of the few people in your field that knowledgeable. By default. Because most people don't go to those lengths. Don't continually study everything that they can. And the biggest trick that even those that get into reading as much as they can is they fall into the trap of information bias. And they'll sit there and side with any information that supports the whatever point that they personally agree with. This is going to be very hard for FI Hero to let go of. But you need to just see it as a challenge. If you truly believe in something, then it should not be able to be challenged by anyone else, theoretically, right? So you need to approach every single piece of literature, podcast, speaker, as if they have something valuable to provide to you that you don't already know. Stick to these ideas, and you'll be able to actually have the most worthwhile opinion on the board. That's just from knowing more than everybody else. Then on top of that, you're starting to synthesize information, new information out of those patterns. You don't even have to sweat trying to become an authority. It will happen as a byproduct of your discipline and your hard work. Make it a routine. Challenge yourself to read as much as you can. If you have free time, be reading. If you're not used to it with your SI child at first, this is going to be very freaking hard for you to get into the habit of. But you keep consuming, and you'll stop having to worry about what people think of you all the time. Your knowledge will prove itself time and again. With this system, you should be studying all of the videos. If you're interested in typology, you should be consuming everything that you can get your hands on. Every possible video out there you should watch. Because then you can actually have a voice in everything that's going on. You have an understanding of all the types. But you have to start off with consuming information as much as possible. Get yourself the Journeyman membership. If typology is what you're interested in, get yourself the Journeyman membership so that you can have all of the information at your fingertips so you can consume it all. Study other systems, even if it's not this one, because you'll start to see the underlying patterns that everybody is trying to get to when it comes to understanding archetypes as a whole, human nature as a whole. And that goes for any of the types, but INFPs, you guys need to be doing this the most. Like, you cannot let people out-consume information. from you. Like, you have to be the most read out of anyone. You'd be amazed at how many of your life problems that alone fixes. Anyway, if you found this helpful, useful, insightful, leave a like, drop a comment if you have questions, and I will catch you in the next video.